Yo, you're watching the Screaming Fish here, people. Once again, I'm here for another video, but before we get started, I'd just like to say where I have actually been, and also to say sorry for the recent lack of content. So, first off, as you can tell, I'm in a different place. I'm currently on vacation in Africa, would you believe? So, yeah. I pretty much spent the last 3 weeks preparing for this, so yeah, that's where I've been. But now that you guys know that, we can get on with my review for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, which is my most anticipated movie of 2016. But does it live up to the hype? Let's find out. So, one thing that is definitely worth the praise here is the cast. Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso was fantastic. She gave a really engaging performance, and the character of Jyn Erso herself I found to be a really fun and interesting character. I also liked Diego Luna in this movie. I thought he gave a great performance as Cassian Andor, and I found him to be a really interesting character. And I also yeah, he was just a really good character in my opinion, because this is a character that isn't always proud of what he does or the decisions he makes in the film. Another character I absolutely loved in this movie was Donnie Yen as Chirrut Îmwe. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I often do that with Star Wars names. Not only was he a cool and interesting character, but his character had some amazing action sequences, and my absolute favorite character in this movie was Alan Tudyk as K2SO. This character is by far one of the best characters the Star Wars universe has ever had. The performance was fantastic, and he had a lot of funny lines, not to mention the CGI used for this character is amazing. He was just a joy to watch on screen, and he was very funny, like I just said. I also got to give praise to Ben Mendelsohn, again, I apologize if I pronounced his name wrong, as the main villain. He was suitably over the top, and he made a pretty awesome villain in my opinion. And as for Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera, admittedly, I was kind of worried because this is a character from the Clone Wars TV show, so I wanted this character to be done right. And thankfully, they did him right. I really like Forrest Whitaker as this character, and I just thought he gave a really good performance. Also, let's talk about Darth Vader for a second. Darth Vader has an amazing scene in this movie that gave me chills. That's all I can say without giving away spoilers. So, as for the story itself, I liked how it linked to the opening events of A New Hope while also managing to be different from the other Star Wars movies. This movie, in its heart, is a war film, and it is clearly realized throughout this movie. Like, for example, how the action sequences are shot, or the tone of the movie, for example. And yes, this movie is suitably dark and was tonally even throughout, and I'm also glad that there is a dark tone in this movie, because I would find it very strange if the tone were, say, light-hearted, like the Force Awakens, but not to say the light-hearted tone in The Force Awakens is not good. I love almost every bit of The Force Awakens, but I think Rogue One story really deserves a dark tone, and I'm really glad it did get a dark tone. So yeah, thankfully it was just as dark as I hoped. And speaking of the action sequences, oh my god, this movie has some of the best action sequences, not just in any of the Star Wars movies, but they're just the best I've seen, some of the best I've seen this year in general. Particularly the final battle of this movie. And one thing that Gareth Edwards, who is the director of this movie, always seems to get right in his movies is scale. He really knows how to make things look huge. A lot of the action sequences are shot from the perspective of the characters, and it was cool to see this technique in a Star Wars movie because it helped the Empire to look huge and undefeatable, and made our heroes look small, which is a great way to build tension in my opinion. And as for the space battles, they are nothing short of spectacular, which is partly due to the amazing special effects. The CGI in this movie is superbly detailed and looks real for the most part. However, as much as I absolutely love this movie, I do have a few cons with this movie. For starters, I think there could have been more backstory for most of the characters in this movie. While all the characters in this movie are pretty likable in my opinion, Jin Erso is the only character in this movie with an actual backstory. And as for everyone else, we get nothing backstory-wise, unfortunately. And also, there were also a lot of shots from the trailers that were not in the final result. This could be due to the reshoots, but when I go back and watch the trailers of this movie, almost every shot in that first trailer is not in this movie, which does make me wonder what was the original cut of this movie. However, despite that, I still absolutely love this movie. Is it as good as The Force Awakens? I would say it's just a little bit below it, but overall I thought it was an amazing movie and a great start to the Star Wars anthology movies. Rogue One is a definite must-see. I seriously recommend Rogue One to you guys. So, guys, thank you for watching my review of Star Wars Rogue One, or Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, however you want to call it. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. I personally thought Rogue One was brilliant. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or were you somewhere in the middle? Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. And I will indeed see you guys in the next one. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And I will indeed see you next one. Goodbye, guys.